bring in Lane Kiffin, the head coach at Florida Atlantic, and he joins us, Continental Tire Coach's Corner. Coach, what did you see last night?
Really an amazing game. The first quarter was probably what would have guessed was going to happen, and kind of happened, except for the red zone in the game, that it was back and forth and just explosive offensive players, great receivers. I can't imagine a championship game with better receivers, skilled players on both sides offensively. And then all of a sudden, the turnovers and the inability in the red zone, to fake field goal, a couple fourth down stops, and all of a sudden the game, was totally one-sided at that point.
When did you know Alabama was in trouble?
At the end of the first half, when they sat on the ball there, and it was an aggressive game plan by Coach Saban. He went for it in his own territory, which is very unusual for him. And then when they sat on the ball with whatever it was, 30 seconds left and all their timeouts, I was kind of a little worried it was going the other way.
If you were still the offensive coordinator, knowing what you know after watching the game, what would you have done differently?
Oh, that's easy to say now, obviously. So it's going to be easy to say, would have run the ball more because, the running backs in the O-line were so effective on Alabama's side. But that's easy to say now. Tua came in as playing one of the greatest games ever, the week before. Only think two or three incompletions. So that's easy to say now. But I think anybody'd say that, the day after.
Well, watching it last night, I just kept saying, you're running the ball well. Why not continue to do that? Because, there's depth issues on Clemson's line because of suspension. So I just would have kept him out there as long as I could. I know Tua is great. But in the moment, I kept thinking whenever they wanted to run, they could run the football. Could you have talked Coach Saban out of something if you were there on the sidelines in the moment?
Well, I don't think Coach is ever on the headset saying throw the ball. So you don't have to worry that wasn't going on. I'm
Really?
sure that wasn't. Oh, yeah. He always likes to run the ball and control the clock. That's well documented, especially when his defense is struggling in a game like that. You don't want to go 3 and out and, after 15 seconds to be back out there. So, but you can't fault the offensive coaches. You've got some great receivers, great quarterback, that had done unbelievable things, set all the records, and, but sitting there watching it, which it's always easier to watch than it is when you, when you're in the moment calling those plays, you don't see it, as well, especially if you have to be on the sidelines. So watching it, yes, that was the feeling that they were not stopping the run. And that 3-headed monster of the 3 running backs, they were always fresh. And all 3 guys are NFL running backs, and Josh Jacobs was unstoppable, in short yardage. And so it's easy to second guess and all that and then say, okay, well, in the red zone, why didn't you go Wildcat? Because they didn't stop Wildcat all day with Josh. But, that's why your guy's job is easy.
Who's if I said you could have a draft pick, you could take a Tua or Trevor Lawrence, NFL, who would you take?
Probably for the NFL, Trevor, but I'd be hard pressed not to take Tua for college because of the rules and more RPOs. Now it is transitioning as you're seeing in the NFL, and you got some shorter guys doing good things, but NFL is where that arm release is and his height and his ability, and we're talking about a young kid. I just kept watching him saying, I'm waiting for them to say, hey, this is Peyton Manning, because that's who he looks like.
Wow. When did he first come onto your radar screen, Trevor Lawrence?
I think I was trying to think this morning, I want to say maybe 8th grade. I believe he was in our Alabama camp, I think in like 8th grade, if I remember right. And was just tall. He was already really tall, and we had him up with like the juniors and seniors, and he looked like he belonged. And then they're like, yeah, he's like 14 years old or something.
What is Nick Saban doing today?
7:30 staff meeting, and he is on to recruiting, which starts Friday, and obviously he's not very happy today, but he'll turn the page and he'll get on to trying to go sign the best recruiting class in the country.
This would be a wrong day to show up late for that 7:30 meeting, I'm going to guess.
That would not go over well. That 7:30 meeting starting at about 7:00.
I was also curious your thoughts with what's happened at USC with Cliff Kingsbury pursuing head coaching jobs, and he just accepted the offensive coordinator position. What do you make of this situation?
Well, it's highly unusual, obviously, just getting fired from college and then going to take a coordinator job. And then I don't think he has NFL experience and, interviewing for those. And so it is what it is. I didn't really follow. I didn't see yesterday somebody said about them blocking him. I don't know. They must have written the contracts, very specific to that, because that's not normal. In college, you can't block people. That's an NFL thing. So they must have written those contracts special for that.
Yeah, I think that he's now able to interview, and Lynn Swann is not blocking him from doing it. But I get the feeling that once you start interviewing, USC is going to move on. And it feels like USC, they don't have any leverage. They need Cliff Kingsbury. They need somebody like that, a bright offensive mind to help that program. But I was surprised that he took the job so quickly, Lane, because it feels like you could have had an offensive coordinator job or maybe a head coaching job in the NFL, because we're always looking for that next Sean McVay, and it feels like that's Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, I think there's some similarities there. Now Sean's in the NFL, so that's an easier transition. But that is just like anything, once something works, now let's find the young, offensive, energetic guy, that spreads it around and uses emotions and things. So I can definitely see, where that's happening and why that's happening.
Well, it's good to visit with you as always, and hope the program rebound. Hope my Owls do better next season after 5-7 here.
We'll be back, Dan. Don't worry.
Okay. Well, thank you, Coach. So,
all right. Have a good one.
Lane Kiffin, Florida Atlantic head coach, and joining us in the Continental Tire Coach's Corner. Continental Tire, no matter what you drive, where you drive, how you drive, they have a tire for you.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.